Well, hello. We're kind of doing a weird schedule. Actually, it's a completely weird schedule, and everything has been thrown off. My time and everything has been thrown off. It's like almost like having a different job or being on another planet or something. Not only that, but it's hot today for the first time. For the first time this year, this time of day, it feels like summer, finally. By the way, today is June 19th. And we are in Parachute. For some reason, this was like a jumping off spot for me for a while anyway. Oh, something. Highway 65, that's where we want to go. Over at 23. Cool. So I did a video of Grand Mesa a couple weeks ago from the south side to the north side. Well, not that I made this trip specially to do this, but this is actually the best way for me to get to Montrose, which is where I'm going. So let's go ahead and shoot this and see what we've got. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we have here. Anyway, today's June 19th. It's a Monday. It's 11:23. I probably have already said most of those items, but saying them all in one spot makes me feel like a man. I feel like a man. So, and with all this rainbow stuff going on, you know, it's kind of nice to feel like a man once in a while. When is the straight people month? I guess I've missed out on the new modern pagan calendar. You know, I'm not up. Maybe the pagans aren't really interested in regular people, straight people that try to ascribe to the moral values that our country was founded on. So I recently got Twitter again. I wanted to see what it was like, and I post all these videos. I put a little blurb on about the video and post them on Twitter, and it seems like some people are looking. But I don't know. I mean, it just seems like a thing to do, something to say. And of course, so I see other things on there. And last week, Biden, put in, I don't know why he's on my feed, because I don't have anything. Anyway, whatever. So whoever does the Twitter for Biden, right? Whoever that aide is, posted, Gay Pride Month, and they had a picture of the White House and a big Gay Pride banner, and it was just great. And so I replied. Maybe I shouldn't. But I think So I replied, pride cometh before a fall. So I probably put something else in there, but that was the gist of it, right? I thought, okay, that seems like a reasonable thing to put, to make a response about. Well, this morning, I got a blade, right? For me, I got a blade. I woke up at around 7, what was it? 6 something, 6 or whatever. Anyway, it was late. And I looked at Twitter. You know, I'm starting to get acclimatized to, you know, picking up the phone and looking to see if, you know, to see what kind of interactions you know, whatever I wrote might have had, or responses might have been, you know, they're just the basic trap of social media. Well, I used to be that way with Facebook until I got rid of Facebook. And so I looked on there, and here's another Biden thing, right? And Biden's like, we need common sense gun reform, common sense gun control, or whatever, you know, whatever the bullshit is. You know, that this guy who is an installed henchman taking the rightful place of Donald Trump. Donald Trump should have been the one. We know that. We can say that now because YouTube knows they got away with it. So we can actually say that now. We've been uncensored. So anyway, he posted another, common sense gun control. And I posted the Second Amendment. That protects us from you. And that's all I put. I thought that was reasonable enough. I do not like that guy. But that guy is not running that account. So I have to understand that. And not only that, but I think that the people that put that shit out should see my opinion. They should see everyone's opinion. This is a democracy. Everyone's opinion should count. So in a way, I appreciate being able to do that. That's kind of nice. And of course, while I obviously think the guy's a criminal and was installed illegally by several other criminals, and I think that I think a lot of people understand that nowadays. I think a lot of people understood to begin with. It's just that maybe there's a disbelief that this could happen to us, you know? How could this happen to us? We're the United States. So, we're American. I mean, we have this opinion about ourselves that needs to be changed. Ooh, that's neat. Heavy equipment boneyard. Neat. There's some neat stuff out there. I want to stop and go look. How cool. Not only that, but also the rocks and the formations are really neat up there. Most people rush by all of this stuff. Oh yeah, there's some neat stuff out there. There's an old-timey maintainer. I think it was horse-drawn and had big hand wheels on it to maneuver the blade. How neat. These canyon lands. Most people drive by this and never see it. You know, people are whizzing by on I-70. In fact, I got on I-70 on rifle, stuck my foot in it, and got up to speed, passed somebody that was going like 70, 72, speed limit 75. They started speeding up, and so then I was going almost 80 to try to get around them because they were speeding up. It's like, you know what? I looked and I saw there's an exit a couple miles, exit to Rulison. I just got off the exit, got back on the side road. Why bother with that stuff? What, to save 5 minutes to fight with a bunch of people on the interstate? And as far as my recent experience has been down here in this part of Colorado on the interstate, and for that matter on Highway 50 between Grand Junction and Montrose, they're just rude drivers. I don't like them. I don't like the kind of driving that I'm seeing around here. Unless I get on a road like this and then people are cool. So I mentioned a few of the things that had happened when I was driving from Grand Junction to Delta. You know, there was a red pickup that I passed in Grand Junction. He was going 20 and a 30, and I passed him. Well, I just went by him, and then I made pretty good time going down to Delta, and I passed a couple people, and I don't know, they passed me back. Keep in mind, I had my cruise control on pretty much all the time, and I finally ended up passing them when we got into Montrose. Montrose or Delta? It was into Delta, yeah. And I don't get that. I don't understand why their speed would be so variable. I set my cruise and try to get by as much as I can with cruise, because I like that. You know, it's just to me, that's very cool to have cruise control. There's a real strong food smell here. I mean, that smells like food. I'm thinking it's probably my car. Like plastic or something, but oh. Everything seems to be okay. Very weird. Let me roll my windows down in the back and see if that clears it out. Now I'm smelling a strong smell of cedar. Really pretty, but real strong. Yeah. Not seeing anything weird. Not hearing anything weird. I'm not seeing any smoke. Maybe I just passed a place that was cooking food. So anyway, I'm in no big rush to get back on I-70. I prefer I-80. I mean, I-80, it's business-like, right? They're just getting down the road. It's not a big thing. But I-70 is weird. I guess every road's got a flavor, you know. I-80 is more of a trucker's road. Maybe that's why I prefer it. People aren't farting around. They're just getting their job done. They're getting the job done. They're going down the road and getting it done. Here, there's probably a huge, whether it has anything to do with anything, I don't know. But there's probably a huge bunch of people that are tourists that are out podunking around. Of course, this is a Monday. But this is tourist season, and tourists, you know, they're trying to see the area. I don't begrudge tourists either. I think that they crowd the road up, but maybe that's the thing, is that the tourists crowd the road up, and so people that drive on the road like me, I see that and get cranky about it. Someone was giving me crap about being cranky about stuff, you know. We got to talk about things. Keep in mind too, when I'm talking about stuff on this YouTube channel, I'm talking. It's just whatever comes into my mind. And so if I get mad at somebody, like the guy that I called an asshole, by the way, that guy was going about 20 miles an hour. He was going really slow. And the video that I put out that showcased the road between Crawford and Blue Mesa, that guy was going really slow. He had no reason. Well, to begin with, he had no reason to be going that slow, and then he needed to be responsible for his actions. Instead, he was being a jackwagon. He was being an asshole. The jackwagon. Well, that's funny to say jackwagon. You jackwagon. I don't know what that means, but it could be pretty bad. But it's not really age. I've realized it's not age that makes people grumpy. It's the frequency of something that you have to contend with that will make you grumpy. And if you think I'm wrong, find a 5-year-old and annoy the 5-year-old in the same way for a while. I don't know, like to feather and tickle them with it or some silly thing, you know, something, you know. Or a cat, or a dog, or a horse, or you know, one of your family, or whatever. Fun for the whole family. Well, that's cool. Look at that neat thing. Kind of a stony pole, a stony pole, a pony stone. Oh, look at all of them. How cool is that? I hope you can see all of these. Kind of like a rock, bunch of rock people. No, I can't understand that. So anyway, it's not really age that makes people grumpy. It's frequency of stuff. You can make a kitten mad. The kitten's a young little creature, little babies, whatever, by just picking on them the same way. So, and that I think we all have a certain amount of tolerance for something, but when we lose our tolerance for whatever it is, that's when we start becoming grumpy. That's how that works. You know. Cool. So we were on this road. I think we were on this road. Mesa 2. Let's see what's further in. Yeah, I believe so. Coming down. Now we'll be going back up it. I just have to say that the same road everywhere, but in a mountainous area for sure, where you have a lot of curves, can be completely different going one way or another, you know, just depends on everything, a lot of variables. So this will be, although it's the same road, it will be a quite different drive. Not only that, but this really worked out well, I believe, as far as the sun is higher up in the sky. Now I know that my windshield's pitted pretty bad and there are going to be some pock marks there, but the lighting here is really gorgeous today. It's that real ethereal. I'm either saying the right thing or I'm talking about a body part. But it's got that really cool light, that really cool feel to the light, a shimmer and sparkle that the light has in Colorado. So that's really cool, and It looks like I have acquired a bug. Try to keep the windshield clean, but no guarantees. So this is Mesa, okay? Little town of Mesa. I really like these little towns. They're so cool, you know, they're rare nowadays too. A downtown area that actually has stores and things in it. I mean, that's kind of shocking. I'm really, me and my sisters and my little brother were incredibly blessed to have the parents that we had. I miss my parents terribly. I believe that my parents were the best people in the world. I mean, I really, they were such good people. Patient, they put up with our shit. And in the summers, they would take us, well, actually, we would go on rides a lot. They would take us out, we'd go on rides, we'd stop, we'd get out, we'd look for things. I mean, it was a great thing that they did. And I'm just so glad that they did, because I still have that, I guess the term might be wanderlust, you know, the urge to go look, the urge to see things. And although I never had kids, I have nieces and nephews, and when I was able to, I would take my nieces and nephew wherever we would go. And we did some work where they would come with us from time to time. And so they got not nearly as much as our dad and mom did for us, but they got quite a bit of that, really. But for that matter, dad and mom took those kids too. So that was a great thing. They took them on vacations also, just to see the world. If you're looking at this landscape and you think it's almost too beautiful to be real, like maybe this is AI generated something, yeah, that's what it looks like. This is like the fullness of all these plants and the massive feel of all this greenery and all these different little subtle colors and just beautiful. Everything is just amazing looking this year, and it is just amazing. And a Jeep Cherokee. Always like seeing a Jeep Cherokee. This reminds me of paintings that were trying to catch that kind of landscape, just really thick and lush landscape like this. We have to do quite a bit more climbing from the north side than from the south side. I do believe we started in the Colorado River Valley. For some reason, I'm not sure why, this morning I was thinking about, not having kids or whatever. I was married pretty young also. That was a real stupid move on my part. I don't know why I was thinking about that, but I got married to this girl, local girl in Craig, and we should not have done this. I should never have done it, but I certainly shouldn't have done it at our ages. I was just turned 18, I think, or 19, and she had turned 17, so, we had to get her parents' permission to get married. And, it's one of those times when if I could go back in time and look at the situation from a neutral point of view, I would probably be able to catch her parents and my parents looking like, what in the hell are these stupid idiots doing? But my parents were pretty good about letting us kids make our choices like that. They would counsel us, but they would also kind of stand back and let us make our choices, understanding that sometimes, you got to make that choice, and you have to make your choice and then put up with, the promise of the choice, the bounty of the choice, or the misery of the choice. So I got married to this girl. I think she was screwing around on me while we were just going out. And there was a kid that I knew in school that knew her, and he said, "Really? You gonna marry this girl?" And he he offended me at the time, but actually, I appreciate what he tried to do. He tried to save me. He said, "Really? You really want to marry her? Are you really going to do that?" It's been kind of, she's kind of snooping around, and he was respectful. He wasn't, but it still was offensive because, well, I was in love, I was in love. I make fun of it now, but I was in love, right? I was also getting laid. And so, whether it was love or whether it was getting laid, I don't know. But I married this girl, and we just had a real humble wedding. None of us, we're not wealthy people. I had no desire for any of the pomp and circumstance. She didn't really care. There were some nice qualities about her. I guess that was one of them. But I was in this band when I was a kid. I was really a late bloomer guitar player. And I'll never be a great guitar player. I'm not bad. I can actually do some pretty cool stuff on a guitar. I can find my way around a guitar reasonably well. But I'll never be a cutting edge type guitarist ever. I started too late. Anyway, so I was learning to play, whatever. I ended up getting into this band, and one of the guys in the band, he was my friend, but he was also, he liked the girls too, and she liked him. They screwed around on me. I didn't know anything about it, for a while. Then there was a guy I worked with. I let him borrow my carport. We were renting a trailer, right? A little trailer, had a carport. And so while I was at work, he was over there working on his car and working on my old lady. And I confronted him about it one time, and he never did admit it, but he got right to the point where he was going to admit it. He was, so, if you keep pushing, I'm going to, I knew what he was going to say, and I thought, you know what? I don't need this. I already knew anyway. Although the day that I became a man was the day that I was hanging out with a couple people. One of these people I've talked about is the same person that finds ways to disparage me when he sees me. You know, next time I see him, it'll be something else, I'm sure. Like, you know, I talked about him before on a video. Well, he had I think it was his wife's brother. Yeah, we all worked at the same place at the time. And he said, yeah, you know, yeah, your old lady, yeah, she'd been screwing around on you or something. And I had no knowledge of it until he said that. And he was just saying it like I knew it. Because everyone knew it, but me. I mean, that's the way these things work. So that was the day I became a man. And it sucked. It was not fun. And I hated it. And I hated her. And I hated the whole thing. Obviously, we got divorced. I don't think it was a real bad breakup. I mean, considering, you know, that we called each other some choice words, and that was basically it. And then she was off screwing other guys, and I just started playing music. But I certainly thought about what I had done, the choices that I'd made to get to that point where I was lonely and brokenhearted and betrayed, and, you know, I felt like a fool. Everyone's laughing, you know. I mean, all the stuff that you feel when you're in that situation. In a way, it turned into a good thing. It didn't break me, and it made me think about things a lot more. And I certainly needed to be thoughtful about things. I was a smart kid when it came to technological things, or technology, or mechanical things, or whatever. I was a pretty smart kid. I could surprise people with the amount of intelligence I could pull out of thin air. I don't even know where I got it, but I had it, right? But I didn't have the human component of that. I had no idea really how to get along with people. I was real awkward. I told you when I was a kid, I was picked on a little bit, and that had a little bit to do with that. You know, I was real autistic is probably not the right word, but maybe an idiot savant, maybe something like that. That might be a closer. Were they in the Aspens now? And so it was kind of around that time I actually started thinking about that and realizing just how stupid I was about the ways of the world and people. And it was a good thing to consider. And I paid attention to what I didn't know, and I learned what I needed to learn. And it was very helpful. It allowed me to become a much more well-rounded person. I still have some rough edges that needed to be smoothed, but that was a big step in integrating me into the world of people and communication, and how people act, what they say versus what they mean. Yes, this is really pretty. Interestingly enough, the last I heard about this woman, she was kind of a strange one too. I mean, there were things I didn't know about her that other people had to tell me. For instance, she lied all the time. She would just make stuff up. It was bizarre. And my mom, who was like the nicest person, and she would say this, it's weird, you know, Wes, that she would do this, that she would say these things. And And she was right. It was very strange. And yeah, most people knew, but that's how things work usually. You know, you're in love, and all of your friends are trying not to say anything because they know it's doomed. There are weird things about it. Well, anyway, she ended up becoming a witch. Maybe that's what made me think about it. Was this ridiculous? What is her name? Megan Fox, yeah, who is apparently some sort of witch, and she's apparently raised her kids as like genderless, right? Which is really bizarre. But you know, stupid people like that do stupid things, you know, and apparently they don't learn, which is a shame, you know, because learning. I think there's a turnout up here that I want to turn out on just to show you this. So anyway, yeah, that got me thinking about that. Yeah, because yeah, she lives in Utah somewhere, and she's a witch. Now she was also raised to be Mormon, and this was pointed out to me by a guy who, and I think he's right, that people that are, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. People that were raised a Mormon have more of a, check that out, guys. It's, I mean, kind of a good view of it. Okay, there's a ridge. Where are we at here? I don't know how much you can see of this. Let me back up a little bit. But there is, the horizon is way out there, but there's a dark ridge closer in, and that's the top of the Book Cliffs. Grand Junction is down in the valley right there. So that's pretty cool. Let me go ahead and move. Oh, just, see what else I can show you here. And so that's the Roan Plateau. I'm pretty sure that's what we're looking at is the Roan Plateau. All right. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so this girl, yeah, we got divorced. It was not too big of a deal. She got her junk. The biggest thing that I have regret wise about that whole situation was that at the time I had a little money ahead, and I wanted to buy a Shelby Cobra, a Shelby two-seater, it was a 427. No, this particular car was a 420, yeah, the 429 big ball in it. Little two-seater, you know, the ACAs, right? I could have bought that car for $7,500, and I could have afforded it at that particular point in time. Instead, she wanted a sewing machine. And not just any sewing machine, but she wanted a fancy-ass electronic sewing machine. And I like, okay, fine, we'll get you the sewing machine. A Singer sewing machine, $3,000 some dollars. So that blew the hole out of my finances. We'll let this guy go around me. I got people hauling ass, and I just don't really want to follow them. So go, a-hole. Yeah, if I have to pull over for you, I'll call you in the hill. I'm just joking. I make a big joke. Anyway, that's what I regret. I regret the most of that whole thing. That is that she got that sewing machine, which is fine with me. I mean, it was a cool little machine, but I didn't really want a sewing machine. I wanted that that Shelby Cobra. And if I would have gotten that Shelby Cobra, and if I wouldn't have killed myself in it, and if I would have kept it in good shape, which I probably would have. I mean, I understood the value of that. That car would be worth a bunch of money. I don't know really how much, but I have a feeling there are probably 4 or 5 zeros behind that particular car. So that's what at the end of the day, there was no way we were ever going to stay together. I found that I didn't even like this girl after I got married to her. I didn't like her one bit. And she probably didn't like me either. And I really don't care that she was screwing other guys. I was happy to get away from her. So this is really cool. Look at this hill up here. We're going to switch back up to the top of that. That is something that you couldn't see when I was coming over the last trip that I made up here. So anyway, I am just so pleased with how that ended up. But yeah, apparently she's a witch in Utah. That is actually icing on the cake for me. That she, that I was able to get away from that. Good God. Yeah, and that's what triggered that thought was Megan Fox, who is some sort of witchy person who is apparently gonna go do some sort of satanic rituals or witch rituals in front of some guy who criticized her because she's raising her kids like a stupid fucking idiot. And she's unhappy about that. But there's something to be said in this world for when people make fun of people. A lot of times that saying, where there's smoke, there's fire, it does apply. So that's just one of those things that you have to decide when you're being ridiculed for something. Why are people doing that? Because a lot of times people are ridiculing you because you're doing something really stupid. So if you want to double down like Megan Fox and say, well, I'm going to cast a spell on you. All right. That's just more fodder for the, for the grist mill of idiocy. It's funny. As you might guess, I absolutely, positively do not believe one little scintilla in any of that bullshit. Now, people that claim to be witches can certainly hurt you, just like anyone else can hurt you. But to wish ill upon you and do incantations and things, I mean, that is so incredibly stupid. It's great in cartoons and it's great in fairy tales, but in real life, it's pretty stupid. How many companies do that kind of stuff? You would think that woke companies would be trying that if they thought there was any validity to it. So yeah, this is pretty cool. This is one of the neat things you didn't see. I think we're probably, I don't really know. But we're probably around 11,000 feet. Pretty. Pretty, pretty. Yeah, to finish that thought up. So she's in Utah. I think I saw her one time since her whole family moved away too. The only one that I actually liked after all that was her younger sister. And it was weird too because her younger sister stayed with us for a while. And I never did a thing with her younger sister, which you would think right? If I was a dirtbag, I certainly would. But we actually talked about, well, let's set her up. Let's make her think we did this because of what she did, which was stupid. We shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have. But that's as far as it ever got. I absolutely wouldn't. Well, I can't say that I wouldn't, but I'm glad that I didn't. I think that, as much as that hurt, I remember how much that hurt. I didn't want to do that to anyone else. A few years later, I knew this girl, and I would visit with her, and I'd be friendly with her, and she was I really liked her actually, but she was married, and so I would flirt with her a lot. I mean, as much as I could get away with, but I wasn't really trying to do anything with her. And one day I asked her, her and her family were moving, and she said, she said, I've never done anything like this before. What she meant, not pretty, what she meant was having an affair. And she implied that she would like to have an affair. And I said, no, we can't do that. We absolutely, positively can't. It was a knee-jerk reaction, and I'm glad that I didn't. I don't know why this person didn't get all the way off the road. Anyway, yeah, I think you can drive out there and there are some mysteries that are just going to remain mysteries up here. Anyway, she wanted to, and I said, no, we can't do that. You will hate yourself. You'll hate me. It will just be bad. And so nothing ever came of it, and I'm glad. But I do think she might have been mad because I said no. Because I've said no to more than one girl. I said no, I don't know why I'm even on the subject. Well, I guess. I said no to one girl. She was a girl that I would fool around with from time to time. I told her no one day. I thought, well, I've got this other girl who I'm serious about, and so no, we probably can't do that. She has not talked to me since. And she's in a situation where we could see each other quite a bit if we wanted to. I don't want to, but I'm just saying that the woman scorn thing is one of those things that comes out of antiquity, but I think there's some truth to that. Now, guys getting shot down is not that big of a deal because guys get shot down all the time. Dating, or at least that's how it was when I was doing that nonsense. I'm not in the market. I am not looking. I would kind of like to go to the ranger station. Had a guy comment, a guy that lived in Craig, he lives in Cedaredge now, said that there's a ranger station up here by the visitor center. I drove by the visitor center, not really knowing much about it, but I'd like to turn down and take a quick look at that. I don't know how. I wanted to look at that on Google Earth just to see where it was at. I usually do that before I venture a trip like this, but I haven't done that. I've been busy. So we'll do that. Anyway, I'm not in the market. I'm not interested in love. I do believe that love does exist, but I am so much better off not messing around with that stuff. One thing that I noticed getting onto Twitter, immediately a bunch of women, well, let's say maybe they were women, I don't know. They claimed to be women, got a hold of me, like, oh, hey, that, I don't really mind that, but, that isn't really a good one. But I don't care about that. And so I didn't really respond to any of them, or I responded to very few of them. We shouldn't actually, I may have missed my turnoff. Maybe not. Maybe this is just a high spot here. But yeah, I'm not a lonely guy at all. I'm just, I don't understand. I don't actually understand people being lonely. I don't get that. Now, when I was a kid, I had the urge to, get a wife and have kids and all that, but that worked out the way that worked out. And I don't have that urge anymore. And like I said, having nieces and nephews in the family was kind of nice. I was able to. Okay, I'll do a little turnaround here too. This isn't the best spot for this, but this isn't bad. There's a really big lake here, and I don't know if you can see over the trees, but let me also just show you. Yeah, I think these are the San Juans that we're looking at here. Yeah. But they are, I don't know how well that's actually gonna come out. So I'm just gonna back that up. Go ahead. But a big lake right below us with a bunch of ice. The ice is finally breaking up in it. Probably about time. It is almost July. Anyway, yeah, I'm not a lonely guy at all. But I'm still attracted, to females. And I don't mind that. Enough of that. Enough of that crazy interpersonal stuff. Yeah, it looks to me like maybe we're watching center. Visitor center. Oh, okay. Okay, well, the visitor center isn't. We'll take a look up here. That's nice. What do we got going on here? Well, no, I don't want to do that. I'm assuming that the ranger station is up here somewhere, but I'm okay with not seeing it. Yeah, there's a kind of not really. Well, it's neat. I don't really have any reason to to stop in here today, but I still have my coffee. Mm. How's the... It looks pretty good. The high wind that we've had today has kept the windshield really clean. So that's great. Oh, I had a comment. Some lady watched my rabbit ears video where I was on rabbit ears and I was following and I passed. I've had a couple people comment on that because it does look really dangerous, but if you could see the whole vista that I could see, you wouldn't have thought that. But seeing only what the camera presents makes it look that way. Now, there's really not much of a way for me to fix something like that, and I knew it looked a little bit risky. I wondered how people would react to it, and actually I think it was the very first comment I got on that channel was a guy that was saying, "Oh, you're stupid for doing that. You're stupid. And by the way, you're a whiner," or something like that. "You're a big whiner." And I said, "It sounds to me like you're the one whining." That was like the very first comment I got, and it was on that video, and it was disparaging. And I have a tendency of, if someone comments disrespectfully, if I don't delete it, I will mirror their comment right back to them. So that's what I did with this lady. She called me, she says, "Oh, you're a dumbass, how dangerous, how stupid," and all this. And so I replied to her with those terms, the same terms that she used, to describe me. At the same time, I did point out that she had no idea what she was talking about, because she wasn't there. She couldn't see the whole situation. She didn't know how fast I was going. But it does look, I mean, I'll give her that. It does look that way. If somebody is predisposed to bitching at people or to insulting people, that could trigger them to do that. That would give them an excuse that they need, to be an a-hole. So anyway, I gave it back to her the same way. I'm not going to put up with it. I think it's really cool when people comment, and I appreciate it. And the people that comment, I see them as, somewhat as friends. They understand why I'm doing this. They like to see this, and they put up with my political stuff. But more than likely, most people believe politically the way I believe. We are being sold a bill of goods that people are all big on the left. They're not. People are actually pretty centered and, for the most part, relatively decent. I say that like it's shocking. Oh, pretty. We're down here in the... Let's see if this one is a good one. I may have blown my chance to... Well, I'm kind of obsessing about giving you a view off the top of this thing, but the view that I can give you is nothing like what you could get if you're here and look at it yourself. Obviously, if you can't get here, then, it's great if I can find a good view. That view, there were a lot of trees, Either that was the same view a week or two ago, and trees have. That's not. No, it's still the same thing. Well, there was one hole, maybe. I think there's another one down here. All right, let's see if this one will work. Let's see if I can find a hole in these trees. I'll back up, make an attempt here. Maybe. We got a spot here. Oh, there's a hole. No, yeah, it's right on the... right on the edge of the... So what I don't want to do is drive off with my camera going to add. That's not too bad. Let's see how we can improve on that. Okay. So those are the San Juans, and we're looking over the top of Cedaredge, and probably we're looking south. So probably Delta down there. It's kind of a hazy day, I hate to say. So, all right. No, this isn't bad. Oh yeah, this is a nice one. Cedaredge Overlook. Put that up a little bit. I know you can't read it, but yeah. Let's do this. Trying to figure out how to film with this really stationary platform. Well, the camera's stationary. It's kind of a trick. Anyway, so we're looking over, yeah, towards Paonia. Paonia's underneath those mountains right there. Okay, back that up. All right, I think enough of that. I think we've done enough of that. I'll back it up a little bit. Pretty. The nice thing is that coming this way, you can see off the side quite a bit better. Well, as we were coming up, the camera is really just looking at the mountainside mainly. So, but here, and not only that, but you're over on the side closest to the edge. Now, having said that, my Gunnison, the Gunnison Canyon, the camera didn't catch too much at all of how steep that canyon was. And let me tell you something. If you've never been on that road and you're scared of heights, I kid you not, you need to think twice about going on that road, because that is scary. But anyway, I do like people. I like to listen to the comments, and several people commented and have told me some interesting things about this country, which is really neat. So that I like that also. I did have one guy comment, and it wasn't a bad comment, but he was saying he didn't notice that CDOT, the the issues that I point out about CDOT, and I disagree with him, but he was really respectful, and I answered to the best I could to give him my take on the situation, correct or incorrect, right or wrong. But yeah, when people disagree with me, that is no big deal. I mean, people are going to disagree. But he did it very nicely, just like a matter of fact. And if you look at his comment, and then you look at the comment that lady left, which I would assume she'll probably delete her comment if she has the ability to after that. But or she'll double down. She'll come back and call me a bunch of bad things. Who knows? I don't know. I don't really care. I'll just get rid of that stuff. Well, I like the light. The light. This is definitely worth it. The hell of it is I would not have done this. I would not have waited to go so late. I really hate going late because I'm going to be on the road. I've probably got about a 12-hour day today. Starting at 7:30 in the morning. So I might get back by dark if things go well. But the deer will be moving. The elk will be moving, and I really try not to be on the road that time in the afternoon, especially south of Craig, because there are a lot of critters. Yeah, I did notice that poor little marmot smashed. And I don't really know. Oh, how pretty is that? I hope you're catching it. I'm really tempted to get a 4K 60 camera. I look at them and I think, man, I'd sure like to have one. I'd sure like to get the clarity. However, it might be that if I did something like that I would still not be able to put out a better quality video on YouTube. I gripe about YouTube a lot. Their woke policies, their pro-censorship. I mean, they're leftists. But I will say this. They do allow for, and I appreciate it, they allow for really high quality videos. Now, maybe they can do that because apparently Apparently they've gotten a lot of taxpayer money. But if that's the case, then I'm glad to see that we do, at least, unless they get all big on censorship again, we have a place to post high quality videos. Rumble, bless its heart, bless your heart, Rumble, is not going to succeed if they don't allow high quality videos to be put on their site. They're strange too. I did for a time have the ability to downlink. Well, to downlink, that sounds like a satellite term. To automatically, Rumble would automatically download videos that I put on YouTube. But something happened, and then I thought, well, I'll just get rid of the permission, and then I'll redo it. That usually works with computers, but it didn't work with that. I've never got it to work again. And actually, I don't really care. Rumble's going to really have to up its game if it wants to compete with YouTube. And frankly, I think there's a better chance that YouTube will come around and start understanding that censorship is the last thing they want to do. I mean, they don't need to censor. They can stand behind, section whatever. I'm thinking of, I've got too many highway numbers in my head, but they have the law on their side. They are not liable for the things that people put on YouTube. Now they have lied about that, actually, quite honestly. They've lied about that, saying, oh, well, we can't have this on there because, we're liable. And they basically, they have their cake and they're eating it too. But I kind of think that they might change. I think that if they don't embrace freedom, they're going to be gone too. That another one of these companies will succeed and will topple them. So I think in their self-preservation, their own interest, they may want to reconsider. They've already, looks like to me, they've already backed away quite a bit from the censorship that they've done. But they've also done another thing, which I think is kind of annoying to the people that are making money on YouTube. I used to make a little money on YouTube, but they've taken pretty much all the money that people used to make away. Well, they're shifting it. They put it over in YouTube Shorts. And YouTube Shorts, I don't like one little bit. I do not like watching a video that's a minute long. But I don't watch on my phone. I watch on my TV. I watch through the Roku app. And I'm not interested in I don't like that format whatsoever. And it's funny that the long form, high quality video, the ability to put one on YouTube will actually, I think it will be its eventual strength. Especially, like I say, if they relent and become freedom loving. Yeah, that'll be the day. But I think it could happen. I think it could happen. It's in their best interests, Yeah, I've always, well, that's ugly, I think. I've always liked this valley down here. And I've always liked looking up at Grand Mesa. That's like the big fixture in the Uncompahgre River Valley. And for that matter, the Gunnison River Valley. We do have two rivers down here. Two big rivers anyway, the Uncompahgre and the Gunnison. 92. Oh, okay. All right, let's go, Brandon. Oh, this is nice. I really, really enjoy this drive. I like both of the drives, but the vistas that you get, well, actually, they're different. I mean, the vistas that you get on the north side are more of a have a Utah feel to them. This is definitely more of a Colorado feel. You know, we got the big snow-covered mountains, the San Juans. I believe that's the San Juans in front of us. And we have this beautiful canyon lands, which is kind of Utah-like, right? That stretch out all the way, you know, all the way from down in the bottom of the valley, all the way to those mountains. Or so I thought so when I was a kid. But the canyon lands out here, it's just gorgeous, beautiful. There are a lot of neat towns out here. Nucla, Gateway, just to name a couple off the top of my head, that are in the canyon lands. Just a really intensely pretty place. And the backdrop of the San Juans pretty much all the way, I think from New Mexico, all the way up, you know, to the Grand Mesa.